The 2019 election of members to the Senate of the Philippines will be the 33rd election of members to the Senate of the Philippines for a 6-year term. The seats of 12 senators elected in 2013 will be contested during this election, and the senators elected in this election will serve up to June 30, 2025. The winners in this election will join the winners of the 2016 election to form the 18th Congress of the Philippines. The senators elected in 2016 will serve until June 30, 2022. The Partido Demokratiko Pilipino Lakas ng Bayan (PDP Laban), the ruling party headed by President Rodrigo Duterte, is expected to lead its own administration coalition. The opposition is expected to be led by the Liberal Party, headed by Vice President Leni Robredo, its de facto leader. Other opposition coalitions may be set up. The Senate election is held concurrently with elections to the House of Representatives and local officials above the barangay level. Electoral system. Senate elections in the Philippines are conducted via the plurality at large voting system, where the entire country is one at-large district. Each voter can select up to 12 candidates, 1 vote per candidate, and the 12 candidates with the highest total number of votes are elected. Senators are term-limited to 2 consecutive terms, although they are eligible for a third non-consecutive term. Only half of the seats are up in every senatorial election. The winning senators will succeed those elected in 2013, and will join those elected in 2016 in the 18th Congress. Each party endorses a slate of candidates, typically not exceeding a 12-person ticket. A party may also choose to invite guest candidates to complete its slate. The party may even include, with the candidates' consent, independent candidates and candidates from other parties as the party's guest candidates. Parties also may form coalitions to endorse a multi-party slate of candidates. While the Philippines is a multi-party system, parties tend to group themselves into 2 major coalitions in midterm elections, e.g. Lakas Laban vs. NPC in 1995, PPC vs. Puwersa ng Masa in 2001. This is opposed to senatorial elections in presidential election years where most presidential candidates also have senatorial slates. This results in an election where voters can choose between 2 major political forces. Sometimes a weaker third coalition is also formed. Winning candidates are proclaimed by the Commission on Elections, COMELEC, sitting as the National Board of Canvassers. Candidates are proclaimed senators-elect if the 13th-place candidate no longer has a mathematical chance of surpassing the 12th-place candidate. Post-proclamation disputes are handled by the Senate Electoral Tribunal, a body composed of 6 senators and 3 justices from the Supreme Court. Coalitions. 2016 election. As the 2016 Senate election was held concurrently with the presidential election, most of the presidential candidates also put up their respective senatorial slates. These slates shared several candidates, although most of the shared candidates only campaigned with one slate. The presidential election was won by Davao City Mayor Rodrigo Duterte of the Partido Demokratiko Pilipino Lakas ng Bayan (PDP Laban), while the vice presidency was won by the Liberal Party. Leni Robredo, the representative from Camarines Sur. Senator Bongbong Marcos disputed Robredo's victory, and his electoral protest is still pending at the Presidential Electoral Tribunal. The ruling Liberal Party won a plurality of seats in the Senate election, but politicians friendly to Duterte had the clear majority. Coco Pimentel, Duterte's party mate, was elected as President of the Senate in July 2016 by a large majority, while a handful of Liberal Party senators comprised the minority. They were later joined by other Liberal Party members who had earlier voted for Pimentel, forming a 6-person minority bloc in the Senate. Pimentel resigned from the Senate presidency in May 21, 2018. He was replaced by Tito Sotto of the Nationalist People's Coalition (NPC), who was elected by majority of the senators. Coalition for Change, Tapang at Malasakit Alliance. In October 2017, Partido Democrático Pilipino Lakas ng Bayan (PDP Laban) is only considering to form a coalition with the Nacionalista Party for the 2019 senatorial elections. On November 2017, PDP Laban reportedly released a partial list of their senatorial slate for the 2019 edition consisting of 6 people. The party President Aquilino Pimentel III clarified that the list is not finalized and remarked that there was no party decision yet. In January 2018, the House Speaker announced that the 6 candidates were now official. In February 2018, 2 more names were added to PDP Laban's potential slate. Pimentel announced a shortlist of 20 names in April 2018. It includes himself and the 5 other senators that are members of the majority bloc, several administration officials, representatives, and private citizens. Pimentel said that his list was not approved by Alvarez when he released it. By August 2018, Pimentel wrote to Duterte of their party's prospective candidates for the Senate. Pimentel divided the names into 3 groups: members of PDP Laban, outsiders, and the incumbent senators of the majority bloc. Pimentel said that Duterte's decision would be final in the composition of their slate. Opposition Coalition. In March 2018, a supposed Liberal Party slate was circulated on social media. The list of candidates included Interior Secretary Mar Roxas, Senator Bam Aquino, former Senators Teofisto Guingona III and Ramon Magsaysay Jr., former Pampanga Governor Eddie Panlilio, former Representative from Quezon Lorenzo Tañada III, Representative from Albay Edsel Lagman, Representative from Northern Samar Raul Daza, Magdalo Representative Gary Alejano, Representatives Jose Christopher Belmonte from Quezon City and Caca Bagao from Dinagat Islands, and Cebu City Mayor Tomas Osmeña. However, on April 2, Magsaysay said that he had no plans of returning to the Senate. Lagman, Daza, and Belmonte all denied that they are running for senator. Alejano, meanwhile, neither confirmed nor denied his plans. After multiple candidates denied interest in running, Senator Francis Pangilinan denied that this slate was an accurate list of Liberal Party candidates, as the official list had yet to be finalized. In April, Antonio Trillanes said that his Samahang Magdalo was cooperating with the Liberal Party, Akbayan and Tindig Pilipinas to put up an opposition coalition against the pro-Duterte parties. On April 24, Liberal Party and other groups urged Mar Roxas to run. By mid-May, the Liberal Party had settled on several names, however, Roxas himself declined to run. The Liberals intend to form a coalition with anti-Duterte groups, with the slate being named as the Resistance. In June, Alejano announced his intention to run. Leni Robredo announced that she is accepting the role of opposition leader in the election, and they will release the lineup by mid-September. The lineup may include former Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno, who was removed from office by a quo warranto petition. By August, Roxas, in an interview at Robredo's radio show, said that he was unsure of his plans in 2019. In early September, a list of 18 possible candidates was publicized by the coalition. The list included incumbent Senator Paulo Benigno, Bam Aquino IV, Magdalo Representative Gary Alejano, former Department of Interior and Local Government Secretary Manuel Mar Roxas II, former Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno, former Quezon Representative Lorenzo Aaron Tañada III, lawyer Jose Manuel Chel Diokno, former Bangsamoro Transition Committee member Samira Gutok, former Solicitor General Florin Hilbay, former Akbayan Representative Ibarra Barry Gutierrez III, actor Dingdong Dantes, former presidential spokesman Edwin Lacierda, writer Manuel Luis Manolo Quezon III, activist Leah Navarro, actress Agate Isidro, musician Jim Paredes, election lawyer Romulo Macalintal, former Social Welfare Secretary Corazon Dinky Solomon, and ex-Chief Justice Hilario Davide Jr. Nationalist People's Coalition. By June 2017, Nationalist People's Coalition (NPC), erstwhile Chairman Emeritus Danding Cojuangco returned as chairman, in an active leadership role. Senate Majority Leader Tito Sotto said Cojuangco was reportedly unsatisfied with how the party was being run, as leadership cannot agree on what direction to take. The party is considering all of the eligible incumbents from the majority bloc to run in its slate as friends of the party. Sotto also said that Bam Aquino, the only non-term limited incumbent from the minority bloc, was also invited to run in their slate. Aquino is the nephew of NPC founder Cojuangco, who Sotto said will personally help Aquino in the latter's campaign. Sotto announced on July 2018 that Senator J. V. Ejercito and former Senator Lito Lapid will run under the NPC banner. Ejercito said this is to avoid with him running together with his half-brother Jinggoy Estrada, under the Pursa ng Masang Pilipino. Lapid was formerly from the now moribund Lakas CMD. Hugpong ng Pagbabago, Nacionalista, and other alliances. Hugpong ng Pagbabago, Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte's regional political party centered in the Davao region formed in mid-2018, reportedly had national parties wanting to force alliances with. By August, Hugpong signed alliances with the Nacionalista Party, Nationalist People's Coalition, the National Unity Party and 6 other local parties. In August, incumbent Senator Cynthia Villar announced that she will seek re-election, while the coalition will also support the candidacies of Governor Imee Marcos and Representative Pia Cayetano. Partido Federal ng Pilipinas. A new political party called Partido Federal ng Pilipinas, Federal Party of the Philippines, was launched and accredited by the Commission on Election on October 8, 2018. It elected Land Bank of the Philippines Director Jesus Nilo as president. On October 17, 2018, the party fielded 3 senatorial candidates in the 2019 midterm election, namely Maria Socorro Manahan, Elmer Francisco, and Diosdado Padilla. The group is sympathetic with the president and advocated for the Philippines' shift to federalism. Term limited and retiring incumbents. The following are barred from running since they are on their second consecutive 6-year term. Francis Escudero, Independent. As of April 2018, Escudero is undecided on his plans. He noted that he is enticed to be a private citizen after his term ends. He ultimately filed his candidacy to run for governor of Sorsogon, Gregorio Honasan, Una. Honasan was tagged to be most likely to be named as Secretary of Information and Communications Technology in December 2017. Honasan dismissed the report as a mere rumor. Lauren Legarda, NPC. Legarda is silent on plans after finishing her term, but was rumored to be nominated by President Duterte as Secretary of Social Welfare and Development. Legarda noted that the Department of Social Welfare and Development is a very important department that should take care of the poorest and the most vulnerable population. In September, a local coalition of politicians from Antique Province announced that Legarda will run for House Representative of the Lone District of Antique. Antonio Trillanes, Nacionalista. Trillanes will not run for any position in 2019, and will instead focus on being chairman of the Samahang Magdalo. Alan Peter Cayetano, who was on his second consecutive term, resigned from the Senate in order to become Secretary of Foreign Affairs on May 18, 2017. It left one vacant seat, and since it was vacated less than 3 years before Cayetano's term expires, no special election will be held to fill the seat. Cayetano resigned as Foreign Affairs Secretary on October 17, 2018 and filed candidacy as House Representative from Taguig's 1st District. It's disputed if Coco Pimentel PDP Laban is on his second term already, considering he only took over from Juan Miguel Zubiri's seat after the latter resigned and Pimentel won his electoral protest against him. See banned candidacies, below. Candidates. Half of the seats in the Senate, or the 12 seats disputed in odd-numbered years since 1995, are up in the 2019 senatorial election.
Incumbents not term limited.
All 6 incumbents filed candidacies for senator. Sonny Angara, LDP. Angara was included in Senator Coco Pimentel's list of prospective candidates for the PDP-Laban-led coalition that he sent to President Duterte for approval. Angara filed his candidacy on October 17. Bam Aquino, Liberal. Aquino was suggested by Senator Franklin Drilon to run. Aquino filed his senatorial candidacy on October 16. Nancy Binay, Una. Binay was included in Senator Coco Pimentel's list of prospective candidates for the PDP-Laban-led coalition that he sent to President Duterte for approval. J. V. Ejercito, NPC. Ejercito was nominated by Senate President Pimentel. Ejercito was non-committal if he would run. He said by January 2018 that it depends on the decision of his father, Manila Mayor Joseph Estrada, as he prefers to avoid running with his half-brother Jinggoy Estrada. By April, Pimentel revealed that they are considering Ejercito over Estrada, saying that they prefer incumbents, and that it was his commitment to Ejercito. Ejercito left the Pwersa ng Masang Pilipino, his father's party, in favor of the Nationalist People's Coalition (NPC), and will be running under the NPC banner. Grace Poe, Independent. Poe said in early July 2018 that she's unsure if she'd run in 2019, considering that she said that her husband was traumatized of what happened in 2016. Poe, who had been a guest candidate when she first ran in 2013, said she hasn't received any offers this time from any party to run. Poe filed her senatorial candidacy on October 15 as an independent. Cynthia Villar, Nacionalista. Villar announced her candidacy on April 2018, adding that the Nacionalistas will field a representative from Taguig Pia Cayetano, and Ilocos Norte Governor Imee Marcos.
Accepted candidacies.
The filing of Certificate of Candidacies (COCs) was scheduled on October 1 to 5, 2018, although resolutions in the Senate and the House of Representatives are pushing for the rescheduling of filing to October 11 to 17, 2018, as most parties have not yet finalized their senatorial slates. The Commission acceded to Congress's requests, and filing ended on October 17. The Commission is expected to release a final list of candidates by December 15. The Commission accepted all of the certificate as it saw it as a clerical task not to discriminate when filing. This is the list of those who filed, as long as they have Wikipedia articles, or were elected into office above the barangay level, or served in the government in the assistant secretary level or above. All people running who were appointment in government shall deemed to have been resigned from their positions upon filing their candidacies.
Declared candidacies.
These are the people who have personally publicly announced their intention to run for a Senate seat. Party list representative Gary Alejano, Magdalo. Alejano was suggested by Senator Antonio Trillanes to run. Alejano said that he would follow what the party decides on the matter. Alejano has been included in the senatorial slate named by Senator Francis Pangilinan in mid-May. Alejano later announced his candidacy in June 2018, after accepting Magdalo's nomination. Trillanes said that Magdalo's nomination was unanimous. Senator Bam Aquino, Liberal. Aquino was presented on the first batch of the Liberal Party's Senate lineup in September 25, 2018. Former party list representative Neri Colmenares, Makabayan. A three-term party list congressman who represented Bayan Muna, Colmenares accepted the unanimous nomination of party list organizations under the Makabayan umbrella as their standard bearer in a party convention held on September 25, 2018. Having placed 20th overall in the 2016 senatorial elections as a candidate under the Grace Poe-led Partido Galing at Puso coalition, he might run as an independent without support from any major coalition this time but may be teaming up with another former congressman and media personality, Lorenzo Aaron Tañada, under the Makabayan aegis, Tañada being its guest candidate, and with the support of people's organizations and cause-oriented groups. Former Commission on Human Rights Commissioner José Manuel Diokno, Liberal. Diokno has been included in the Liberal Party senatorial slate named by Senator Francis Pangilinan in mid-May. Diokno was presented on the first batch of the Liberal Party's Senate lineup in September 25, 2018. Bureau of Corrections Director Ronald Dela Rosa, PDP Laban. Dela Rosa, when he was still the chief of the Philippine National Police, was suggested by Senator Manny Pacquiao to run. Dela Rosa had earlier said that he is open to run for senator. On September 2018, Dela Rosa announced his intentions to run for a Senate seat, as he swore his oath in becoming a member of the ruling PDP Laban. Former Senator Jinggoy Estrada stated he will run for senator because he wants to be in par with half-brother, Senator J. V. Ejercito. He announced this on April 10, 2018, and wanted to run under the administration ticket, but if he would not be picked by them, he would still run as an independent. Estrada left the Senate in 2016 as a member of the United Nationalist Alliance after being term-limited in 2016. Former Bangsamoro Transition Council member Samira Gutok Tamawi, Liberal. Gutok Tamawi was suggested by the opposition bloc to run. Former Senator Lito Lapid, NPC. Lapid is seriously considering making a comeback to the upper chamber of Congress according to Senate Majority Leader Tito Sotto. Romulo Macalintal, lawyer. Macalintal, the lawyer of Leni Robredo on Bongbong Marcos' vice presidential protest against her, said that he will run as an independent candidate in Robredo's preferred coalition. Representative from Maguindanao Zajid Mangudadatu, PDP Laban. Mangudadatu was suggested by Speaker Alvarez to run. Presidential spokesman Harry Roque, People's Reform Party. Roque, his priority as of the moment is to be the best spokesman that I can be for the president. By October, Duterte successfully persuaded Roque not to run for the Senate. The latter ran as a nominee of the Luntiang Pilipinas in the party list election, instead. However, Roque changed his month and filed his candidacy on the last day, running under the People's Reform Party of now-deceased Miriam Defensor Santiago. Former Senator Bong Revilla, NPC. Former Representative from Quezon Lorenzo Tañada III, Liberal. Tañada was suggested by Senator Franklin Drilon to run. Tañada has been included in the senatorial slate named by Senator Francis Pangilinan in mid-May. Tañada was presented on the first batch of the Liberal Party's Senate lineup in September 25, 2018. Aside from the Liberal Party, Tañada may also be included as a guest candidate of Makabayan. Senator Cynthia Villar, Nacionalista. Villar became the first incumbent to declare her intentions to run, announcing it on April 2018.
Publicly expressed interest.
These are the people who have personally publicly considered their intention to run for a Senate seat. Former Secretary of Justice Vitaliano Aguirre, saying it depends if Duterte asks him to run. In April 2018, he resigned from his post. Aguirre was criticized for unverified claims and questionable resolutions as Secretary of Justice, including the dismissal of charges on drug suspects Kerwin Espinoza and Peter Lim. Ilocos Norte Governor Imee Marcos, Nacionalista. Marcos stated she would run, because her brother Bongbong would not. Marcos later said that her candidacy has not been decided, with a 50% chance of it from happening. Senator Cynthia Villar said on August 2018 that Marcos will run for senator under the Nacionalista Party banner.
Potential candidates.
These persons are considered as potential candidates or have been named by someone else as a potential candidate. Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales. Morales was suggested by Senator Bam Aquino to run under their resistance slate. However, Morales maintained that she will retire from government after her ombudsmanship. Representative from Taguig Pia Cayetano, Nacionalista. Cayetano was suggested by Speaker Alvarez to run. In April, Senator Cynthia Villar confirmed that Cayetano will run for the Senate under the Nacionalista banner. Representative from Ilocos Norte Rodolfo Fariñas, PDP Laban. Fariñas was suggested by Senate President Pimentel to run. Fariñas said that he prefers to retire instead after his term ends in 2019, for now. Jiggy Manicad, PDP Laban, TV journalist. Manicad, who hosts and reports for several GMA network news programs, resigned on April 20, 2018, days after appearing as a choice in a Pulse Asia opinion poll. Manicad said that he shall enter a new level of public service. Pimentel said that Manicad was included in his shortlist as he is already a party member. Leah Navarro, singer. Navarro was suggested by the opposition bloc to run for senator. Former Presidential Communications Undersecretary Manolo Quezon. Quezon was suggested by the opposition bloc to run. Former party list representative Barry Gutierrez, Akbayan. Gutierrez has been included in the Liberal Party senatorial slate named by Senator Francis Pangilinan in mid-May. Representative from Bataan Geraldine Roman, PDP Laban. Roman was suggested by Speaker Alvarez to run. Former Secretary of the Interior and Local Government Mar Roxas, Liberal. Roxas declined to run again. Roxas lost the 2016 presidential election. When sought for comments in May 2018, Roxas said that he'll cross that bridge when it gets there. When asked in August 2018, Roxas was still unsure of his plans, in an interview at Lenny Robrito's radio show. Presidential political advisor Francis Tolentino, Independent. Tolentino was suggested by Speaker Alvarez to run. Representative from Oriental Mindoro Reynaldo Umali, PDP Laban. Umali was suggested by Speaker Alvarez to run.
Declined candidacy.
These are the people who have personally publicly denied their intention to run for a Senate seat. Public Attorney's Office head Persida Acosta. Acosta denied that she's running for the Senate under the Katipunan ng Demokratikong Pilipino. Chris Aquino, actor. Aquino posted in her Instagram account, "Allow me to firmly say that I won't seek any national elective post in 2019. She also added that it was unfair to her cousin and incumbent Senator Bam Aquino for her to be included in the September 2018 Pulse Asia survey. Representative from Quezon City Feliciano Belmonte Jr., PDP Laban. Belmonte said via his spokesman on late March 2018 that it is not in his plans for now. Representative from Negros Occidental Albi Benitez, PDP Laban. Benitez has been personally nominated by Speaker Alvarez, and Senate President Pimentel. Benitez said that he has been going around the country and spreading his advocacy and would run if there's already acceptance of those. Representative from Northern Samar Raul Daza, Liberal. Daza said on late March 2018, "I'm not running for the Senate." Dingdong Dantes, actor. Dantes said that he won to run for senator in a reply at Ogie Diaz's Facebook post. Davao City Mayor Sara Duterte, Hugpong. Duterte, originally considered to run for senator, saying in early January 2018 that if the opposition annoys her enough, she would run, then said later that month that she would defend her mayoralty post instead, as she needs to finish my priorities. By August, Duterte said that she'll rather seek re-election as Davao City Mayor. Special Assistant to the President Bong Go, PDP Laban. Go has been endorsed by Speaker Alvarez, but Go stated that he will not run for senator after his controversial statement on fisherfolk arrests. Agat Isidro, actor. Isidro has been included in the Liberal Party senatorial slate named by Senator Francis Pangilinan in mid-May. Representative from Albay Edsel Lagman, Liberal. Lagman said on late March 2018 that he had no intention of running for the Senate at the moment. Former Senator Ramon Magsaysay Jr., Liberal. Magsaysay denied that he is considering to return to the Senate. Former Senator Bongbong Marcos, Nacionalista. Marcos saying he's concentrating on his vice presidential election protest against Leni Robredo. Representative from Davao City Carlo Nograles, PDP Laban. Nograles was suggested by Speaker Alvarez to run. Nograles later said that, "Nothing's definite." Former Chief Justice Maria Lourdes Sereno. Sereno said that she will defer deciding on the matter of running for the Senate. Sereno was ousted from being Chief Justice after the Supreme Court upheld the Quo Warranto petition against her petitioning her qualifications to be Chief Justice. Earlier, House Committee on Justice Chairman Reynaldo Umali said that the Liberal Party is considering adding Sereno to their slate. By mid-June, Senator Bam Aquino said both Sereno and outgoing Ombudsman Conchita Carpio Morales should join their resistance slate. In September, Sereno's spokesperson confirmed that she will not run for a Senate seat in 2019 due to security reasons. Former Presidential Communications Assistant Secretary Mocha USON, who was included in Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez's personal list of potential candidates, said she "D run if President Duterte asks her to run." Days after resigning as Assistant Secretary in early October, USON announced her candidacy to represent the ordinary people who should have a voice. USON eventually ran as a nominee of the Casozio party list in the party list election.
Banned candidacies.
These are the people who are not allowed to run for a Senate seat. Representative from Cebu Gwendolyn Garcia, PDP Laban. Garcia, who was ordered dismissed by the Ombudsman after she approved the purchase of a 90 million peso worth property in Naga, Cebu in 2012, is in peril, as the 90 million peso worth of land she supposedly purchased for a housing project was revealed to be completely under the sea. As a sitting representative, only the House of Representatives can expel her from Congress. Garcia said that she would exhaust all legal remedies to enable her to run in politics again. She also said that the dismissal order is not yet final, and that the Commission on Elections may allow Garcia to run. Garcia intends to run for Cebu governor in 2019 after failing to be selected as one of the senatorial candidates of PDP Laban. Senator Coco Pimentel, PDP Laban. Pimentel, who is on his second consecutive term, however, his first term was shortened as he took office after winning his election protest against erstwhile Senator Juan Miguel Zubiri. Election lawyer Romulo Macalintal said since he served the remaining term of Zubiri, his term that started in 2013 should be the one that is considered to be his first term. After filed his candidacy, it was opposed by lawyer Ferdinand Topacio, saying that Pimentel had served 2 consecutive terms already.
Opinion polling.
Opinion polling, locally known as surveys, in the Philippines, is conducted by social weather stations, SWS, Pulse Asia and other pollsters. The first poll released through by the DZRH website reportedly done by SWS in December 2017 was not posted in SWS's official website, and SWS neither confirmed nor denied the existence of the survey when asked by the Philippine Star, leading to speculation that it was commissioned by a third party, for candidates named by less than 10% of respondents. See the main article.
Survey details. Per candidate.
These are ordered by descending order of preferences, followed by statistical rank. Preferences that are statistically in the top 12 are highlighted.
Per party.
Parties, excluding independents, with the plurality of seats in boldface. Parties, excluding independents, with the majority of seats are shaded by the party color.
Seats 1.
Totals may not add up to 12 due to margin of error.
Seats after the election.
Totals may not add up to 24 due to margin of error. Notes. Incumbent Senator Ralph Recto is denoted as a Liberal Party member up to September 21, 2018, after which he became a Nacionalista Party member. Incumbent Senator J. V. Ejercito is denoted as a PMP member up to October 10, 2018, after which he became an NPC member.
Per coalition.
A table will be added once the coalitions and alliances have been announced.
Issues.
The announcement of detained politicians Bong Revilla and Jinggoy Estrada to run for the Senate again in January 2018 after being jailed due to the Priority Development Assistance Fund scam has led to the issue of whether detained personalities should or should not be allowed to run for public office again. In February, Representative Gwendolyn Garcia was dismissed by the Ombudsman for a corruption case and barred her from seeking public positions from 2019 onward, but Garcia said that she will appeal the dismissal at the courts. Candidates campaigning from detention were previously allowed. Senator Antonio Trillanes ran and won in 2007 despite being jailed for taking part in the Oakwood Mutiny. Trillanes was ultimately convicted of participating in a coup d'état after winning, but accepted the amnesty passed by Congress that was proposed by President Benigno Aquino III. While convicts are not allowed to run anymore unless pardoned or accepting an amnesty, these people have pending cases as of yet and are innocent until proven guilty. As this is a midterm election, it serves as a de facto referendum on the policies of the presidency of Rodrigo Duterte, such as pursuing the Philippine drug war, federalism in the Philippines, and the Bangsamoro peace process, among other things.
Constitutional change.
One of President Rodrigo Duterte S. promises during the 2016 election campaign was to revise the current constitution and to shift the country from a unitary form to a federal form. On September 29, 2017, PDP Laban presented a draft constitution to Congress. The House of Representatives, through Speaker Pantaleon Alvarez, began its own hearings on constitutional change without the participation of the Senate. Alvarez took a hard line on the interpretation that voting via the Constituent Assembly would be joint, instead of the two chambers voting separately, as is the usual. A joint vote would. They rendered the Senate's votes as virtually meaningless, as the representatives outnumber them by almost 300 to 23. Senators maintained that voting must be done separately. Senator Grace Poe moved that all moves to make the Senate irrelevant in the proposed constitution be rejected by the Senate, and supported Panfilo Lacson suggestion that any vote be separate.
Results.
This is how the Senate is currently constituted. On July 25, 2016, voting 20-3, senators elected Coco Pimentel as the new Senate president. The senators who voted for Pimentel became the majority bloc. Senator Francis Escudero then nominated Senator Ralph Recto, a member of the Liberal Party, for the presidency. Senator Antonio Trillanes IV seconded Escudero's nomination. During nominal voting, Pimentel voted for Recto. Recto voted for Pimentel. After losing the vote, Recto automatically became the minority leader. He was joined by Escudero and Trillanes. Drilon was later elected Senate President pro tempore while Soto was elected Majority Leader. On February 27, 2018, Senator Manny Pacquiao, a key administration ally, motioned to remove from key positions LP Senators Franklin Drilon, Francis Pangilinan and Paulo Benigno Aquino IV and opposition allied Riza Hontiveros, Akbayan. Drilon was removed as Senate President pro tempore, Pangilinan was relieved as Agriculture Committee Chairman, and Aquino was sacked as Education Committee Chairman. Hontiveros was also removed as Health Committee Head. The revamp prompted the LP senators to shift to the minority bloc. De Lima later joined them. Senator Ralph Recto, who used to be the Senate Minority Leader, was elected to replace Drilon as Senate President pro tempore. Key seats up. Asterisk gained by a party from another party. Square root held by the incumbent. Plus held by the same party with a new senator.
Per party. References